So in this lecture we're going to talk about a very important result or a very important operator which we can use while solving integration problems, that is beta and gamma function. Clear? Beta and gamma function, and they are pretty much very important applications of integral calculus. So this lecture won't contain any proof of these beta and gamma functions, the properties rather should I say, but this lecture will actually help you understand how can we actually use these functions, what are the bases of these functions, and what are the properties of these functions. So the beta function is basically dependent on two variables, and it is given as the integration 0 to 1 x to the power m minus 1 times 1 minus x to the power n minus 1 dx. Clear? So also what happens here is that this integral is also called the first Eulerian integral. Clear? First Eulerian integral. And what happens is that this integral is convergent if m is greater than 0 and n is greater than 0. Clear? So when m is greater than 0 and n is greater than 0, so this particular integral or the first Eulerian integral is a kind of realized or determined as a function of variables m and n, and this function is called the beta function. Clear? Similarly, we have the gamma function, which is written like this, which is given as the integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus x to the power n minus 1 dx. Clear? This integration is also called the second Eulerian integration. Second Eulerian integral. Clear? Second Eulerian integral, and basically this is convergent if n is greater than 0. Clear? This is convergent if n is greater than 0. Okay. And when n is greater than 0, so this integral is determined as a function of n, and this is called the gamma function. This is the beta function, I'm writing it here, beta function, and this is the gamma function. Clear? So, and one more thing I should tell here is that when we are talking about the beta function, or rather when we are talking about the gamma function, this m and n, I'm writing it in a different color. M and n, they need not be integers. Clear? They should be positive. Both of them should be positive, but they need not be integers. That is an important statement. Talking about the properties. Okay. So there are mainly two important properties of beta function. So beta function properties. Two important properties of beta function are, the first one being beta mn is equals to beta nm. You can call it sort of a commutativity property. Beta mn is equals to beta nm. You can say it like that. And this is you can understand it by substitution method itself. Here if you substitute 1 minus x with y, you will get beta nm. Clear? So this is easy. The next property, which is basically not a property actually, but a dependency between beta function and the gamma function, which is given as beta mn is written as gamma m times gamma n over gamma m plus n. Clear? Beta mn can be written as gamma m times gamma n over gamma m plus n. Gamma, you can write it like the factorial is like this, right? So the reverse direction of the symbol of factorial is the gamma symbol. Clear? Gamma function symbol, you can use it like that. Guess it's clear? Okay. So the main properties actually reside in the gamma function, because beta function is actually a, you may call it a corollary of what we call at the gamma function. Clear? So talking about the gamma function properties. Okay, gamma function properties. Under gamma function properties, what we have, let's see that. Okay, so the first thing first, if you have a gamma n. Clear? So gamma n can be written as n times gamma n minus 1, where n is greater than 0. Clear? So from here you can find one thing. This is pretty easily understanding that if n is an integer, surely it should be a positive integer. This is pretty much understanding from here. Then what we have actually from here, let's see. Can you guess it? Oh, one thing, I'm very sorry, I have missed one thing here. This will be n minus 1. I'm sorry. Clear? So we can actually guess from here is that, not guess, find from here is that gamma n can be written as n minus 1 factorial when n belongs to the set of all positive integers. Clear? If it belongs to fractions, which it can, then you should follow this path. Why you should follow this path, I'm telling you. Okay, next thing. So gamma of 1 will surely be 1. Clear? The important result lies in the fact that what is the value of gamma half? That is the main thing, and that is one of the most important result which we actually should understand. Clear? So gamma half is actually equals to root pi. Now how is it so? I may show you right now, but main thing here is that, why I just told you to continue using this when in fraction, because most of the time what happens is that, the fraction part ends in having a gamma half. Clear? It ends in having a gamma half, and that's why you will get the value of root pi. Now why is it root pi? You will understand from this property itself. So there is a very important property here, that you have gamma m times gamma 1 minus m is equals to pi over sine m pi. Clear? And here what happens is that your m lies between 0 and 1. Clear? And if you put m equals to half here, what you get? So basically, if you put m equals to half, so you get half is pi over sine pi over 2. This is 1. So from here you get, so gamma half whole square is equals to pi. That means gamma of half is root pi. Clear? Got it? I guess it's clear. There is no more doubt as such in these functions, beta functions and the gamma functions. Clear? So these are basically the important properties which you should understand. Okay, and there are two direct results of gamma function which are also very much important. That is, there is an integration 0 to infinity e to the power minus x square dx, and there is another integration which is basically an extension of limit of this integration, that is from minus infinity to infinity e to the power minus x square dx. Okay, now this basically gets you a value of root pi over 2. Using gamma function. Clear? You can find it yourself using the gamma function. Furthermore, what happens here is that when you are doing this from minus infinity to infinity, we know a very important property of definite integration. See, this function is an even function. So when you would have symmetric limit over an even function, then this would change to 2 times 0 to a fx dx when fx is even function. So we apply this only here to get the value 2 times this, which will be root pi. Clear? Got it? Achha, how do we find this? Achha, finding this is, you can apply it yourself also. It is quite easy. What we do is nothing we do. We actually take x square equals to z. Clear? We take x square is equals to z. Okay. So from here we get 2x equals to 2x dx is equals to dz. Clear? And from here basically so basically what we get is the integration from 0 to infinity. A 2 comes out surely. Inside we have e to the power minus z, and here we have z 1 by 2 minus 1. Clear? dz. Because from here you get 2x is equals to 2x dx is equals to dz, and this x is nothing but root z. This x is nothing but root z. So when you get this, from here what do you get actually? From here you get half, and this becomes gamma half, that is root pi over 2. Clear? Now basically there are 3 standard integrals which are direct applications of beta and gamma functions. Clear? One of them is this, one of them is this one. The other two are of product of trigonometric functions. If you have integration 0 to pi over 2 sine pi theta, sine p theta cos q theta d theta, then this is nothing but gamma p plus 1 over 2 times gamma q plus 1 over 2 over gamma p plus 1 over 2 plus q plus 1 over 2. That is, this can actually be written as beta of p plus 1 over 2 q plus 1 over 2. You can memorize it in either ways. You can memorize this directly, or you can memorize this via this. Okay, basically if you have an integration of this form where you have the limit 0 to pi over 2 sine to the power p theta and cos to the power q theta d theta, then this is, you can this integration gives you the result of beta of p plus 1 over 2 q plus 1 over 2. Clear? So basically if your q equals to 0, or your p equals to 0, anything, basically we are talking about this sort of integration 0 to pi over 2 sine p theta d theta. You can also write it like cos p theta d theta. So we are taking just we can apply this here only, q equals to 0. Basically if your q equals to 0, you have root pi over 2, because one part becomes gamma half and the other part is left as gamma of p plus 1 over 2 divided by gamma of p plus 2 over 2. I guess it's clear now. Clear? So these are the 3 standard integrations which you need to remember. So we are gonna end with a very important problem where we are gonna use this gamma function, and the result of this problem is very important and it is often used in higher mathematics, applied in higher mathematics. So this problem is very important. You can write it as very important. Clear? This is an application of gamma function plus some basic algebra. So the problem says, show that gamma of n plus half is equals to gamma 2n plus 1 times root pi over 2 to the power 2n times gamma of n plus 1. Clear? Gamma of n plus half is equals to gamma of 2n plus 1 times root pi over 2 to the power 2n gamma of n plus 1. Clear? We need to show this. So let's see. So from here what we get is that gamma of n plus half, this can be written as gamma of 2n plus 1 over 2, which can be written as gamma of 2n minus 1 over 2 plus 1. Now from here we can write it as So this becomes gamma of 2n minus 1 over 2. Here we have 2n minus 1 over 2. Clear? And this process continues. Then this becomes 2n minus 1 over 2 times 2n minus 3 over 2 times gamma 2n minus 3 over 2, and this process continues like this. Here we have 2n minus 3 over 2, then we have 2n minus 5 over 2, and this continues till we have 5 over 2 times 3 over 2 times half. Then what will be having? We will be having gamma half. Clear? We will be having gamma half. So now from here it is pretty easy to understand that this actually becomes 2n minus 1, 2n minus 3, 2n minus 5, continues till 5, 3, 1. Here is a root pi. Below what do you have? You have 2 to the power n. You have 2 to the power n. Okay. Now what we do is that we, adding it here, we multiply numerator and denominator with 2n times 2n minus 2 times 2n minus 4 and so on. So from here what do we get? Acha, you can assume one more thing I have forgot to tell you. N belongs to positive integers. Clear? N belongs to positive integers. So from here what do you get? From here you get that your gamma of n plus half becomes, so what does the above one becomes? Above one becomes 2n factorial. 2n factorial. Below what do you have? Below what do you have? So below you are actually getting 2 to the power 2n times n plus 1 factorial. 2 to the power 2n times n plus 1 factorial. Sorry, n factorial. Not n plus 1 factorial, n factorial. I'm very sorry. Clear? And here you have a root pi. So from here what do you get? So this can be written as gamma 2n plus 1. Here you have a root pi. Below what do you have? 2 to the power 2n. And here what do you have? Gamma of n plus 1. That is your final answer. Clear? Now this thing can be written as gamma half. You separate a root pi over to outside, plus you have a gamma of 2n, plus you have a gamma of 2n. Clear? And this can be, this basically equals to 2 to the power 2n minus 1 gamma n times gamma n plus half. This result is actually very much important. This result is actually very much important in higher mathematics, as I was talking about. I guess it's pretty clear. I hope there is no problem regarding this particular thing. Should we take one more example and understand it further? Okay, so let us take one more example. Then we will be ending this lecture. So the next example says, let's say, evaluate integration 0 to t x to the power alpha plus k minus 1 times t minus k beta plus k minus 1 dx, and find its value when alpha equals to beta equals to half. Clear? So how are we gonna solve this problem? I hope the question is clear. Okay, so let's see how to solve this problem. So where was my pen? Okay, so we take substitution x equals to ty. From here we get dx is equals to t dy. Clear? Let's check the limits. When x equals to 0, y equals to 0, x equals to t, y equals to 1. So the integration, let's say the integration as I. So this becomes 0 to 1. Here you have t to the power alpha plus beta plus 2k minus 1 times you have y to the power alpha plus k minus 1, that times you have 1 minus alpha to the power beta plus k minus 1 dy. Clear? So this can be written as, now see, t alpha plus beta plus 2k minus 1, this one is constant, so this times you have, now see, you can use the gamma function here, so this becomes gamma of alpha plus k. Here you have gamma of beta plus k, and here what do you have? Gamma of alpha plus beta plus 2k. Basically we converted this to the beta function, and from beta we took it to gamma function. Okay. Now what you can do, this is the answer to the first evaluation. Now if alpha and beta are half as given in the next part of the question, so this becomes t to the power alpha plus beta plus 2k minus 1 gamma of k plus half. Here you have gamma of k plus half over you have gamma of 2k plus 1. Clear? Now if you see the previous result which we were talking about, this result, from here you get one important thing. I'm telling you that, see gamma of half times gamma of 2n, if can be written as 2 to the power 2n minus 1 gamma n plus half. From here what can you write? So from here you can write is that gamma of n plus half is equals to 1 over 2 whole to subscript n times gamma half. What is this? Acha, a to the power n notation is actually nothing but a times a plus 1 times a plus 2, and it continues till a plus n minus 1. Clear? This is notation of this. So we will be using this only. So using this what we get there, using this we actually get there that the integration changes to t to the power 2k. Clear? T to the power 2k. Acha, I had not changed the power of 2, I guess. Sorry, power of t. This becomes 2k. T to the power 2k, and above you have gamma 2k plus 1 root pi times you have 1 over 2 whole to the power k, subscript k, gamma half over 2 to the power 2k times gamma 2k plus 1 gamma k plus 1. This becomes t to the power 2k half, here you have k, here you have pi, and bottom you have 2 to the power 2k k factorial. I guess it's clear. This is the result. Okay, so you understood what is the direct application of the previously found result. Okay, so this is for today guys. In the next lecture we will be talking about something else. We will be meeting in the next lecture.